In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the quote, "Artificial change creates insanity." Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping service-based entrepreneurs reduce stress, balance emotions, and grow a profitable business in less time. I'm your host, Justin Gliskus. Let's get into it. 3 things you'll discover today. How to let nature guide you. The main reason imposter syndrome is in your life. And why you need to live in genuine alignment with your truth. The quote, "Artificial change creates insanity." Now, what does this mean? Let's look word by word. The word and the implication of artificial means that something isn't necessarily down to earth. Something isn't necessarily real. And so artificial in my sense, emotion and sentimentality, it grows so dramatic. Now, if you can sit with yourself in a dark room, outside, on a walk, stretching, if you can sit and notice your emotions arise and look at them, then you're on this path to being sane and having a clear mind, which can actually be congruent and connected to source. Now, there's not much space for artificial living in the life of someone who is aligned with their truth. So that's where this word of insanity enters the fold. Because to be sane is to be guided by something which is clear. And your mind is programmed. Your mind is conditioned. All that we learn, we believe, we hope to be true, that's thought. But real truth is not in the field of thinking. Real truth is so true that it hits you in your heart and you feel that, right? Like that's what real change is. Real change is undeniable. Real change is irrefutable. Artificial change is opinionated. Artificial change is tied back to conditioning, society, tradition, programming, beliefs, and hopes. To believe is to admit that you don't know. Because if you knew, you wouldn't believe. If you knew, you would see it to be true. To believe is to hope. To see something to be true is it's just there and it's obvious. And now the thing with truth is it's so true, you don't need to share the truth to try and get someone else to agree with it. No, that's what people with opinions and beliefs do. They share their stuff like that and they project it onto you because they hope that you agree with them. But the truth is the truth. The facts are the facts. And that's what we're talking about. Real change, real transformation, real awakening. That's what we're talking about. So how to let nature guide you. Really look at your life when you're not in nature. Now, if you do not have a connection to the forest, to the sun, to nature, well, everyone does inherently. But if you're one of those individuals who probably isn't watching this video, but if you may be one of those individuals who is in a dark place right now, you're spending most of your time in your room, you're eating processed food, and you're not exercising consistently. Start there, please. Start there. Get outside, exercise, go on walks, and start lifting some weights and running. If you just begin there with simple whole foods, frequent outdoor nature and fresh air, and then some intense exercises, yet sustainable exercises like walking, and then the intensity comes through the running, the weightlifting, the sport, jujitsu, football, whatever you are aligned with. That is the greatest way to begin to set yourself up to be guided and connected to the essence, which is going to make your life strong, real, and worth living. Meaningful, really meaningful. And you let nature guide you from first getting into nature, but then also seeing what happens when you don't do those sort of foundational actions that I've just listed. Because when you go into nature frequently, you'll feel in your entire being what it does for you. For example, right? Like I'm doing 4, 5, 6, 7 however many hours of business I can per day. And when I get into nature, it's such a decompress. It just lets the things in my consciousness be noticed without weight. So I can look at what my consciousness is without judgment. And then that creates a calmness, a serenity, a freedom, a space, a space. And when you have space in your consciousness, maybe you'll get lightning from the universe, which we label epiphanies or insights or downloads. I'm not a huge fan of downloads. That feels more like a woo-woo thing. And you see, the thing with woo-woo is you can feel when someone has attached to a spiritual identity and they aren't actually aligned with the truth. So the essence of truth is so undeniable that you feel it. Now, woo-woo is the thinking mind trying to be spiritual. You got a lot of those people out there in today's age, but I'll cut them down. Cut them down with some honey. Put some honey on the blade. Cut them down that way. Now, the main reason imposter syndrome is in your life. Now, yes, I remember I recorded this video yesterday and the audio didn't save. What was I saying yesterday that I loved? The main reason imposter syndrome is in your life, which is you are already who you need to be, but your mind wants to keep you stuck as someone wearing the mask. So what happens is as you start to take off the mask, your mind's resistance is terribly strong. One of my favorite teachers, Leo Gura, he calls it ego backlash. And I'll use the metaphor of if you have a elastic band, it snaps back. Or if you throw a boomerang, I mean, I've never thrown one, but I like them. I like the idea of a boomerang. You throw one of those things and it comes back to you. What happens is when you're uprooting the mask, the lies, the falseness in your life, the falseness wants to get stronger to keep you there. So the main reason you feel imposter syndrome is because you're probably doing what you need to do, but the weak part of you wants to keep you back. All you have to do is not judge it, not resist it, but you need to have a healthy lifestyle foundation, which gives you space, consistency through balance, through variety, through diversity. And as you do that, you'll get so familiar with the part of you which is old, the part of you which needs to die, the part of you which you can cut down. And that's what we label the ego. But you see, what happens to the ego is as the ego gets cut down and truth begins to infiltrate and your being starts to change, real change, then your ego begins to get weaker in the sense of, no, you're aware of it. You're aware of the weakness and it's so familiar. And then you see that like this new essence it's of a nature which is unpredictable, yet it's so vital. It's very alive. It's fruitful. It has a harvest that is just beautiful. You can smell it, taste it, see it, feel it. It's undeniable. Now, why you need to live in genuine alignment with your truth. I mean, what else are we going to do, right? Look, we're in 2025. Like 100 years ago, 1944, we had Holocaust. Some people don't believe in the Holocaust. That's fine. But if you look at Lenin and Stalin, they murdered 50 million people over a span of time. If you look at the rape of Nanking, terrible, terrible atrocities in terms of like just gruesome men being immature through the mind, torturing other ladies and men in the most vile ways that you could ever imagine. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, the creator of this world, he's not messing around. She's not messing around. The creator of everything made this stuff real, very real, so that humans go through a absolute transformation and a awakening. The only way you can go through that is by feeling real suffering. Now, as I say that, I am not going to say that that's the only way. I'm going to more so look at the fact that there are many different routes to truth. And sometimes it requires suffering to degrees, but I'm not going to say that it's the only way. Now, what we define suffering as, that can get a bit foggy, right? Because for me, suffering at this point is actually beautiful. because the suffering is like this gift which deepens your awareness. And so it can be painful. The ego mind, like when my dog passed away, heartbroken, you know what I mean? Grieve, cry, like let out sounds that I didn't know I could make. And nonetheless, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's necessary. I can't resist it. There's not the will in me to resist it. I just don't have it anymore, the will. Now, the recap, how to let nature guide you. The moments when you're artificial create the moments which you recognize as weakness. That awareness and distinction is within your nature. It's innate. And let that awareness muscle build and guide you every moment. The main reason imposter syndrome is in your life. Your mind may want to keep you where you are, resisting change. But if you are genuinely listening to your heart, not shallow pursuits and motives of shiny objects, then you no longer will feel like an imposter. The artificial chasing creates the imposter. Now, why you need to live in genuine alignment with your truth. Chaos is a byproduct of not questioning your own illusions. Humans are not meant to live in chaos forever. Summary: your mind wants to keep you weak. So let yourself sense when you're being genuine to your heart's interest. Cut through your own falseness, and there will be no imposter left. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I love you. New episodes Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to work one-on-one, if this resonates with you or hits home or is meaningful, my offer is that work with you to expand your consciousness through self-inquiry so you can decrease anxiety, fear, stress, negative emotion, physiological imbalances, smoothen out your nervous system, create a lifestyle foundation which is healthy, get your physical vessel ripped in shape, etc., etc. We can list many benefits. I love you. Take me up on that if you're interested. Link in description. You can schedule your call right now. Speak soon.